Under the river, a mermaid was walking with her daughter when suddenly, a fisherman threw his fishing rod with an apple for a step. Amazed and attracted by this apple, he couldn't resist and bit into it. Immediately, the fisherman Arthur felt pressure on his line and yanked to retrieve his catch. He ended up capturing little Morelia before her helpless mother's eyes. As he walked away with the child, Aluna, panicked and scared, decided to go find help. On the other side, Arthur returned home with a strange creature. His family was astonished. Arthur, for his part, was very satisfied with his catch and already imagined the sum he would be offered for this rare creature he had captured. His amazed daughter was delighted to see a little mermaid for the first time. On the other hand, his wife, Lena, was fiercely opposed to the idea of keeping this creature at home. An argument broke out in the depths of the sea, in an underwater kingdom unknown to humans. Desperate, Aluna went to seek help from her people. She explained the entire situation to them with tears in her eyes. One of her friends then advised her to go see their queen, Atlancia. The queen, majestic and wise, listened attentively to Aluna's entire story. Touched by her distress, she decided to help her recover her daughter without provoking conflict with the humans. Meanwhile, Mary, sad and lost, wondered what her fate would be so far from her family. The fisherman's daughter, Annabelle, was devastated to see the little mermaid in this state. She wanted only one thing, to make her smile again and, above all, to become her friend. So, she made many efforts. She brought her food, spoke to her gently. But each time, merrily, suspicious, rejected everything she offered. Annabelle didn't know what else to do to make Morali smile when she suddenly had a fantastic idea. She took out a colorful ball and began to play in front of the little mermaid, who had never seen one before. Amazed, Morali watched the bounces curiously and let out a small smile. Queen Atlantia conjured up a magical image. It showed everything that had happened, and especially where Morali was. Seeing her daughter locked away and unhappy, Aluna was overcome with anger and sadness. A deep resentment towards humans began to grow within her. The benevolent queen decided to grant her an ancient power so that she could find her daughter without being detected. Determined, Aluna accepted this mission and, with a few of her most loyal friends, planned to set off the next day. Within an evening, Morali and Annabelle had become best friends. Meanwhile, under the sea, a mother was consumed by worry. This powerful and uncontrollable feeling terrified her. All night long, Aluna was haunted by terrifying nightmares in which her daughter was in danger, imprisoned, or injured. The thought that someone might harm Morali filled her with anger. Unable to bear it any longer, she decided to go back to the surface. Annabelle jumped out of bed and rushed down the stairs eagerly, eager to find her friend. Ever since the little mermaid arrived, her parents had been arguing non-stop. Mer seemed to want to say something, but Annabelle couldn't understand her. Then, the little mermaid conjured up a magical image. It showed Morali with her mother, looking happy. She was showing how much she missed her mother. That's when Arthur entered the room. Annoyed, he lost his temper and ordered Annabelle to go play somewhere else. Lena couldn't take it anymore. Overwhelmed by the situation and convinced she was doing the right thing, she called the number of a secret scientific service, explaining the whole story to them. She hoped they would know what to do. Meanwhile, Aluna, accompanied by her faithful friends, prepared to return to the surface. But before that, a crucial step awaited her. She had to undergo a transformation, become human. She emerged from the waves, hesitant, and took her first steps into a world unknown to her and the other mermaids. But it was too late. The secret scientific service had already come for the Little Mermaid. They had left with Merali to their base. For their part, the three friends seemed lost. Aluna then decided to consult her necklace to get the fisherman's address. They immediately went to the scene. Eager to find Merrily, they rushed to the indicated room, but Aluna was surprised to find it empty. Yet, she was certain that this was indeed where she had seen her daughter thanks to the magical image of the queen. She looked around. Suddenly, alerted by the noises, Arthur arrived to see what was happening. He was shocked to see Aluna, but she, for her part, recognized him immediately. It was the fisherman who had captured her daughter. Overcome with anger, she tried to seize him, but he fled. Aluna created bewitched doors to frighten Arthur, who ran around in panic. The portals appeared and disappeared, making his escape impossible. Finally, exhausted, he could no longer escape Aluna. He begged her in a trembling voice. But Aluna was possessed by anger. She listened to nothing, neither to her friends nor to the voice of reason. Her only thought was revenge. Meanwhile, in the large scientific laboratory, the old scientist Martin watched Molly in amazement. A real little mermaid, he couldn't believe it. Already, thoughts of cruel experiments and tests were invading his mind. Mirrorized and vulnerable, she didn't understand what he wanted but sensed he didn't have good intentions. The scientist's gaze shone with a disturbing light. Seeing Annabelle cry brought back memories of her own daughter. Her tears flowed. She didn't want to hurt anyone. She simply wanted to find Merrily. Annabelle turned to her mother and asked her, in a soft but firm voice, to give her the address of the laboratory. She whispered the address to Aluna, who, still confused, activated her collar to check. An image immediately appeared. Merrily was indeed there, locked up, scared. Annabelle's parents apologized and asked her to hurry because he didn't trust these people who had come armed. Annabelle was also worried about her friend. Aluna promised to save her daughter and left. At the laboratory, the scientist had already begun his experiments. However, Aluna and her friends arrived at the address indicated. As they entered, the alarm automatically went off, alerting security. Aluna began explaining the plan to her friends when they were suddenly interrupted by guards. One of Dr. Aluna's friends immediately left, and her friends removed the guards so they wouldn't follow her. While her friends dealt with the guards, Aluna searched for the room where she had seen her daughter in a vision. She quietly moved through the laboratory corridors, listening for the slightest noise. Meanwhile, the scientist was implanting something in the neck of the weak and unconscious Little Mermaid. Aluna approached the room, but the scientist was informed of her presence. He then sent people to restrain her. A major battle then broke out. However, Aluna's determination won out. She was determined to find her daughter. She entered the room and came out with Morali in her arms. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. Panicked, Aluna hurried to flee with her daughter. A little further on, she found her friends and they all fled together, pursued by the guards. Arthur, consumed by guilt, had returned to help them. So they left in their car while the laboratory agents pursued them closely. Suddenly, they had an accident and their car plunged into the water. In the shock, the box Morali was in opened and the little mermaid was finally free. But Arthur, the fisherman, was drowning. Upon seeing him, Aluna immediately transformed into a mermaid. Without hesitation, she dove in to save him. Arthur, panicked, initially thought she was going to attack him, but to his surprise, she brought him back to the surface. Lena, seeing her husband alive, was overcome with emotion, as was little Annabelle. Aluna, touched by this reunited family, gave them a tender smile. Grateful Marilee gave her friend Annabelle a magic necklace with which she could continue to communicate. Annabelle was overjoyed. She couldn't wait to play with Mary again. Bye-bye. For their part, Aluna and her daughter, finally reunited, were overflowing with happiness. All their friends shared their joy. Yeah. In the evening, little Annabelle, nostalgic for the time spent with her friend Marilee, couldn't stop thinking about their game. It made her sad. For her part, Marilee was also thinking about her friend. So, she decided to call him using her magic mirror. Seeing Annabelle appear on the screen, she was filled with joy. The two friends chatted for a long time until very late into the night. Before parting, they promised to see each other again the next day. The next morning, Annabelle made her mother believe that she was going alone to the school, which was right next to the house. Reassured, her mother agreed. But instead of going to class, Annabelle secretly went to the riverbank to find Mary. Thank you. As soon as her mother left for work, she quietly slipped out the back. On the way, Annabelle decided to buy some fruit to give to Myrrh, who was crazy about it. Meanwhile, Morali told her friends about a human visiting their kingdom. They were all very excited to meet someone from the upper world. When they finally met, the two friends were delighted. Annabelle had even brought her swimming suit so she could go underwater with Molly. then, once underwater, things didn't go as planned. Annabelle didn't know how to swim well, and at a certain depth, she ran out of oxygen. Seeing her panicked, Morali instinctively reached out to her. A strange power emanated from her, and suddenly Annabelle transformed into a mermaid. The two friends were amazed. Together, they dove deeper into the water, amazed by the magical atmosphere that reigned beneath the sea. The luminous corals, the colorful fish, the distant fields, and the aquatic dances made this place a true fairy tale kingdom. Oh. She was amazed by the magical atmosphere that reigned underwater. Annabelle continued her visit, fascinated by the beauty of the place. But suddenly, she let out a scream of fear when she saw a strange creature approaching. But Morali gently reassured her. Finally, after observing the creature more closely, Annabelle realized that it was not dangerous. Still, she found it endearing. A little later, they went to visit Corey, a mermaid friend of Morali. Together, they went to have fun with playful dolphins. Laughter echoed underwater, carried by the waves. However, as she joyfully celebrated, a red light began to flicker on Morali's neck. It was the chip the scientist had implanted while she was still in the lab. This chip, designed to locate her, was emitting a signal without her knowing it. At that precise moment, she was being spied on. Unaware of the imminent danger, the friends continued their show, dancing and laughing together underwater, carefree. Meanwhile, the scientist who had received the signal ordered the submarine to enter the depths of the sea. On board, soldiers were tasked with a specific mission: to explore the underwater kingdom and capture as many mermaids as possible. However, the entrance to the kingdom was protected by two giant pirates. The Mermaid Queen, immediately sensing a disturbance, ordered the fish to defend their territory. The chase began immediately. The giant Paris rushed towards the submarine, ready to tear it apart. But the latter responded by launching missiles. The explosions shook the waters and the powerful discharges inflicted serious injuries on the kingdom's guardian. The queen was furious. She immediately ordered her guards to defend the kingdom against the imminent attack. Aluna, terrified to see humans invading their world, was deeply worried about her daughter. She then decided to summon their magical creatures to protect the kingdom and especially to fetch Morali home. Throughout the kingdom, the dull sounds of fighting could be heard: explosions, screams, and the deep underwater rumble. Arriving home, Aluna called for her daughter but found her nowhere. Had she been captured? Doubts invaded her and anxiety took over. Meanwhile, Morali's friends were warned of the situation by a messenger seahorse. A giant aquatic robot loomed right in front of them. The kingdom's guards immediately engaged the submarine. Suddenly, a huge metallic humanoid emerged, triggering a fierce battle with the marine defenders. Meanwhile, Aluna was desperately searching for her daughter. It was then that she spotted the humanoid carrying Morali. Without hesitation, she stepped in its path, forcing it to let go of her daughter. The fight ensued between Aluna and the machine in a whirlwind of power and rage. On the surface, Annabelle's teacher called her mother to ask why her daughter wasn't at school that day. Lena, surprised, realized something was wrong. Her daughter had lied to her or she was in danger. In the ocean, the battle was still raging. Shortly after, Lena and her husband went out into the streets to look for Annabelle. It was there that they saw a live broadcast of the underwater events on a large screen in the city. And there, to their immense amazement, they recognized their daughters. Without wasting a second, they rushed to the scene of the incident. A few minutes later, Lena and her husband also found themselves in the depths of the ocean, ready to do anything to save their daughters. For her part, the powerful and determined mermaid queen decided to take care of the robot and the submarine herself. Annabelle, overjoyed, saw her father and threw herself into his arms. It was a moment of intense emotion amidst the chaos. In a burst of magical energy, she destroyed both machines. The terrified scientist was thrown out of the submarine, finding himself alone and vulnerable in the ocean. Before him stood the majestic and formidable queen. She knew he was responsible for this invasion. She approached slowly, imposing, and looked him straight in the eyes. The scientist, petrified with fear, couldn't even move. Before him was one of the rarest and most powerful creatures, but all he saw was his own hunger. After giving him a scare he would never forget, the queen left him there, terrified, and left. However, a difficult decision had to be made. The humans had discovered the existence of their kingdom. It was no longer safe. The queen announced that they would have to leave these places and make all traces of their world disappear. The queen had to recreate another kingdom. The two friends, Annabelle and Merrily, sad, said their goodbyes.